Hi, everyone. Mark Truss with Wonderman Thompson. Um, Continuing on with Module 2. Let's see if we can share that right. Okay. About perception and emotion. One of the topics is brand versus performance campaigns. Great quote from Peter Drucker. Long-term results cannot be achieved by piling short-term results on short-term results. Very wise. So again, very quickly, what do you get in this certificate? A consumer-centric approach about creating marketing and advertising campaigns, right? Identifying the goals and objectives of the campaigns, the requirements of an effective plan, getting actionable insights that can be used in the creative development process, how you build media choices and research for media, and then what kind of research do you conduct to get to effectiveness and understand the effectiveness of that campaign. This class builds on the foundations, as I've shown you a few times. And what you walk away from this course with is an understanding on how to navigate that creative development process, from recommending research approaches, putting together a research plan, integrating the insights you get here into a creative brief, recommending the right testing methodologies, creating kind of a story-driven analysis, and leading effective conversations with the stakeholders. So here we are. This is the last lecture in this module. After this, we move to understanding the key message, right? How do we do research to understand the best message and claims that we might want to put into an ad? And here we are, right? Brand and performance campaign. So let's talk about this for a bit. First of all, what are they, right? A brand marketing effort is an effort that employs a longer term, often emotional appeal to consumers, often more about the brand than what they want you to do. It seeks to build and enhance those positive consumer perceptions we've been talking about, and helps create the demand consumers will have in the future for your product. It's a bit slower burn, meaning it takes more time to see sales effect with brand marketing. And it's sometimes shorthanded as selling for tomorrow. It's broader to a mass audience. And sometimes senior management in a marketing organization sees it as a cost because there's not an immediate and large cash return on advertising spend. Performance marketing, on the other hand, are marketing efforts, often digital in nature. They are oriented towards more immediate goals like generating leads, generating sales, generating engagement, generating clicks. Often has a specific sales appeal for the consumer, leveraging the brand's equity that was hopefully built in brand marketing. And it is the fast short-term strategy. Let's get sales quickly. It's sometimes shorthanded as selling for today. And it's more targeted. It's more lower funnel, right? Awareness, interest. It's getting people to buy, do something. And it's more often thought of as an investment with an immediate return, right? So brand marketing might be an ad like this from Google, whereas performance marketing, and this is probably not the best example, but might be something like this, right? 65% off. Beds and headboards for only $89, right? These are very clearly designed to make you come into the store today. Another way to think about it is performance marketing is kind of like asking someone out on a date, and brand marketing is the reason that they say yes to that date, right? So brand sets up the perception of what it is. Performance is the actual action. Going back to Binet and Fields, the long and short of it, that I know you read, or at least you read part of it in the foundations class. When thinking about short-term performance and long-term brand marketing, different objective strategies and success metrics are brought to bear, right? So if it's short-term, bottom of the funnel, it's more about objectives or short-term sales. It can be on or offline responses. There's an explicit communication, and you measure it based on how well it persuades people. Brand marketing, again, at the top of the funnel, is more about long-term business performance, price elasticity, meaning I can charge more for my product. Econometrics, how do I measure the success of this, and building brand equity? And the response to this is often implicit, emotional, subconscious, difficult to measure. And we use creativity and how famous is the brand to measure its success. It does beg the question, though, is this brand versus performance a false dichotomy? People ask this all the time, right? There's a lot of discussion about whether marketers should even be asking this question, or should be doing brand or performance marketing at all. Rather, there's kind of nuance and finesse here that we need to talk about, such as asking, what's the objective of each ad should be? For example, should a single ad be focused 30% on performance and 70% on brand? Or should 30% of a brand's ad spend be focused on brand and 70% of their ad spend on performance? Or how performance and brand advertising should be flighted so that the two build together. Andy Smith, who is also teaching in this certificate program and is a researcher at Flowers Foods, formerly of Hershey and Mars. And he said something that sort of caught my attention once. He said, I've never seen an ad campaign of any type that isn't expected to generate some sales. So this concept of either or feels a bit like it's the wrong question that we're asking. In their impactful paper, The Long and Short of It, again, which you would have read in Foundations, Binet and Fields come exactly to that conclusion. Emotional brand advertising builds the platform that allows the rational performance marketing to be effective. They posit that the right question should be, how do you use the two types of marketing together to be the most effective? And I love this chart. If you're doing sort of just performance or rational marketing, you sort of get this wave where, you launch the campaign, you get a whole lift in sales, and then it slowly erodes. Then you run another campaign, you get a lift in sales, et cetera, et cetera. But the overall angle of this remains flat. You're always getting the same level of sales. Whereas if you are interspersing it with emotional priming, building the brand, you tend to see something that looks more like this, where there's more substantive growth to that sales curve over time. Clearly understanding your brand's business situation and business objectives is crucial to knowing how best to integrate long-term and short-term marketing efforts, right? Binet and Fields say, although long-term effects always produce some short-term effects, the reverse isn't true. By running short-term ads, you don't do brand building. Brand building effects aren't seen. As might be expected, the types of research one would conduct to inform a performance versus a brand campaign, while there's some overlap, they likely require different approaches and methodologies. For brand marketing, you're really trying to understand brand equity research. What does the brand stand for? What does it own? What is it highly associated with in those associative networks? audience research. Who are the people we're talking to? What matters to them? What's relevant? What's their relationship with our brand? What's the campaign idea we're trying to communicate? And does that resonate with people? And copy testing, how well does this ad work with these people? With performance marketing, it's a little more about customer journey. How do people navigate from I have a need to I make a purchase? A little bit of audience research too. Certainly media research, where am I going to find them? And which types of media outlets do they tend to use on that journey to get to that purchase? So what we talked about in an earlier lecture, MTA, multi-touch attribution, how do they get from there to here? User experience research and A/B testing. Which of these 2, 3, 4, 5 calls to action are more likely to drive people and then put more media weight there? So that's it, a brief discussion on brand versus performance campaigns, and sort of how that the concept of that overlaps between rational and emotional and conscious and subconscious that we've been talking about in terms of perception, learning, and memory. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Be well, everybody. I'll see you soon. Bye.